One of the best support characters in Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade has just dropped on the global side of the game, and today we're going to be doing a character guide for the new Yaga. That way you can optimize his potential. So we're going to start by going over his kit. If you guys already know what he can do, then feel free to skip ahead in the video. Then we're going to talk about some of the best recollections to run on him, some of the best teams, his skill upgrade priority, all of that good stuff to help you maximize his potential. So his skill 1 is called Discipline, deals 120% melee taijutsu damage to the selected enemy, decreases the selected enemy's critical hit resist by 10% for 2 turns. Honestly, his skill 1 doesn't matter. You're really almost like, you'll only use it when you don't have enough curse energy to use your other skills. His skill 2 is Go Tsukumoto. I apologize if I say his name, any of these like names wrong right here. Deals range combined damage equal to 120% taijutsu and 30% jujutsu to the selected enemy. Decreases the selected enemy's taijutsu damage by 35%. So this can be good in certain scenarios where you need extra survival. Honestly, I don't think you're going to be using this skill all that much either, if I'm being completely honest. So skill priority wise, I think your skill 3 is going to be like your #1 go-to skill on this character unless you have your ultimate up. Okay, so skill priority, I would say skill 3 is the #1 skill that you're going to be using. So deals 100% taijutsu damage to the selected enemy, inflicts darkness status on the selected enemy for 1 turn at a 65% chance. At level 10, all the percentages do go up, so keep that in mind. This is at level 1 though. Increases the selected enemy's taijutsu damage received by 18.3% for 3 turns, and same thing with jujutsu damage, and then increases their taijutsu and jujutsu damage received by an additional 10% for yellow type attacks. If you go up to level 10, of course, once again, percentages just to show you if you wanted to see those. And then back to level 1, deals range combined damage equal to 100% taijutsu and 100% jujutsu damage. Honestly, the damage isn't going to be crazy. He's a support character. I wouldn't worry too much about the damage overall. And you can see his crit rate stats and crit damage stats and all that other good stuff right there. For his ultimate, Thorough Discipline Kathy, deals range combined damage equal to 600% taijutsu and 180% jujutsu to all enemies. So it is an AoE, which this part is interesting because this can be really good. Increases all enemies taijutsu and jujutsu damage received by 30% for 4 turns. So that is an AoE that is going to increase the enemy's damage taken, which is insanely good. At level 10, it's a 51% increase. That can be very good when you have allies like Gojo or Yuta or anyone who has an AoE attack. Increases all allies damage by 18.3% for 4 turns, excludes self. Kathy ignores darkness status when attacking, and then there's your critical rate information. Once again, it's all pretty similar for most of these skills. For his auto skill, at the start of each turn, increases all allies taijutsu damage by 46% and increases all allies jujutsu damage by 46%. So even just having him on the team without using skills, he's doing a lot. He's being absolutely insane. So this character I think is very, very good. Obviously there is a replacement in Red Yaga if you happen to not pull this character. It's not the end of the world, but I know a lot of people were going in on him. I myself went in on him quite a bit. It got shafted unfortunately, but I may still pull a little bit more on the banner. But he is a very, very good support character. So I hope you got him, and if you did, let's take a look at skill priority and recollections and all that good stuff. So normally I make my own guide. I think I kind of like this format a little bit better because I think this looks really nice. This is made by the community Discord. Just shout out to them, right, for making it look nice. I like to go over this in this format, take a look at what they came up with, let you guys know my thoughts and if I agree or disagree with the things that they've come up with. So in terms of skill order, I actually do agree with their skill order this time. This is 100% accurate. So for upgrade priority, the skill that you want to upgrade first is going to be the skill 3, because once again the skill 3 is the one that does all of those buffs and debuffs and stuff like that. That's going to be the skill you want to upgrade for sure on this character. The skill 2, or sorry, the second skill you want to upgrade is definitely going to be the ultimate. That ultimate is insanely good. Like I said, the AoE for 4 turns, adding more damage to the enemy or making it so the enemy takes more damage is insanely good. And then you want to do his skill 2 and then his skill 1. You know, like I said, skill 2 and skill 1 you should almost never be using. So like skill usage priority, is the exact same as the skill upgrade priority. That is not always the case with every character, but in this particular case, I do say that it is the same for both. Materials here that you want to grind out, pretty simple and straightforward. Also, if you go into the character grade, it'll tell you what materials are recommended to be able to upgrade the character. But if you happen to not have him yet and you're planning on getting him in the future, grind out these materials, because then you'll be able to grade him up right away. And then the free-to-play recollections and the summonable recollections here, I'm going to kind of explain what they do, because it's nice that they show the stats and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the one thing I don't like about this particular layout here is that it doesn't tell you what the recollections do necessarily. So most of these I know what they do off the top of my head. So like this one gives 5% extra damage to allies. So that's any of these recollections for Yaga are going to be like support recollections that are going to be helpful to the team. Keep that in mind because he's a support character. But that's a free-to-play recollection that gives extra damage to your allies. This recollection, when you use it with his ultimate, it gives a 35% boost to other allies' ultimate within that one turn, that same turn. So that's a really, really good free-to-play recollection if you're able to time your ultimates correctly. And then this recollection is also going to, I believe it gives more damage. This is one I actually don't remember 100%. I think it gives a little bit more damage as well to allies. Oh, yes, it does. Actually, for 2 turns. I think it's like 20% for 2 turns. It's okay. It's not super great. I think there's actually one that's similar that I'm going to show you guys, because I have some additional recollections that aren't shown here that I think would work well on him. There's one that's similar that I think is actually a little bit better than this. This one raises the ultimate gauge, or raises how fast your ultimate gauge fills up. Very good unity from top to bottom. I feel like most people know what that one does. A Wish from the Past is going to be a healing recollection. It's used by pretty much everyone throughout Illusory Tower to heal your allies. The best healing recollection in the game. And then Mutual Trust does damage reduction. It's a really good damage reduction. Probably the best one, recollection in the game, that's going to just help your team survive like big hits given certain Illusory Tower stages. Now, other recollections that I would recommend running on this guy right here, I would recommend actually running Rest for Adults, because this one's going to give extra HP to him when he gets to a certain point. It's also going to fill his ultimate skill gauge. And then the big thing though is that at the start of turn 4, you are going to increase all allies damage dealt by 25% for 3 turns. So turns 4, 5, and 6, extra 25% damage for all allies, and he can heal himself, and he gets ultimate gauge. Like it's a very good recollection to run on Yaga. And this one is the one that I was saying was similar to the archery with Kamo, reunited after the rain. So this one, when command skill or ultimate skill is activated, increases all allies damage dealt by 20%, but this one's for 3 turns. The one with this one right here, archery instructions with Noritoshi Kamo, is only for 2 turns, so I do think this one is a little bit better. However, it's effective for yellow type attacks, so keep that in mind if you do decide to use this particular recollection. And then when critical hit or black flash is performed, increases own critical hit rate by 30% for 2 turns and own critical hit damage by 25%. This part doesn't really matter as much with Yaga, but he does have some crit rate and some crit damage, remember, after looking at his stats, so it could be possible to land some crits and potentially do a little bit more damage with him. And you know what? Sometimes every little bit of chip damage does help. So those are some recollections besides what they have recommended here that I would recommend taking a look at. Now, as for the breakdown, why run this character, why use this character? He is a top tier support character who provides both buff and debuff, especially for yellow teams. Yeah, like specifically if you have Hidden Inventory Gojo, he is very good with Hidden Inventory Gojo. Applies blind general taijutsu damage taken increase debuff and yellow type damage taken debuff with skill 3. So yeah, this is like I said, with his skills, it's absolutely freaking broken. He buffs ally damage and applies yellow type damage taken debuff for multiple turns with his ultimate and its AoE on top of all that. Useful skill 2 and skill 1. Skill 2 applies taijutsu damage reduction with low cursed energy cost, and skill 1 lowers energy crit resist at no cost, and he can constantly buff allies jujutsu and taijutsu damage with his passive. Yeah, the fact that that is on the passive is, like I said, absolutely freaking insane, guys. It's so good. His skill 2, skill 3, and ult are all unaffected by the blind effect, so if he gets blinded, you know, that black fuzz that swirls around your head in certain stages, it won't matter. And then cannot be on the same team though with SR Yaga. That's one of the only downsides, you know, because he is a SR Yaga is a top tier support. So that I noticed they changed the bullet point color. That is one of the biggest downsides to this character. Yeah, that just is what it is, unfortunately. As for teams, I like the teams that they've come up with here. Honestly, my favorite team is not on this main teams list right here. I do like the buffs because Nishimiya and Yaga are very, very good with in terms of buffing, and then you have Kaido to be the battery to give cursed energy. Kaido is almost feels like essential to run with this Yaga, I'm not going to lie to you, to be able to continually use the skill 3 to get the buffs in. And then your damage dealer would be like Hidden Inventory Gojo or Nobara, or you can even run like Domain Megami if you really wanted as a attacker. A lot of times though, you're going to want a yellow attacker as your main attacker, because obviously Yaga is going to be buffing yellow type attackers. The team that I really like in particular though is this team right here with Gaku Ganji. So if you happen to get him, he is really good with this Yaga. Then you run Kaido, and then you run Hidden Inventory Gojo. This is the particular team. Source of Stress, interesting. I love the names they come up with the teams, but this is the particular team that I think is one of the best teams that you guys can run, and some of the best recollections and stuff like that that you can put on these characters. So I would recommend out of all of these teams, maybe running this team right here, but that's not that. I know everybody has different characters, and not everybody's going to have the same characters. So I love that they came up with so many different options of things that you could use. And once again, other attacker options, they did put those down here at the bottom as well. You could run Mechamaru, you could run Yuta, you could run Toji, any of these characters, right? The yellow characters in general are probably going to be better as attacker options, but I do like that they gave you the other options as well. So that is pretty much Yaga's character guide. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Which teams are you going to try? Which recollections are you going to try? Have you been trying out the character? How do you feel about him so far? And if you guys did enjoy the video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. Peace.